Hello, hello, everyone. Happy October.
Are we on?
We are on, baby.
Why don't I see us there?
Because we are on a delay.
Oh.
Welcome to the world of delays.
Hello, hello.
Yep.
It's been a minute.
So hello to everyone who's joining us. I see there's quite a few people here. Hello to Lydia. And, oh, by the way...
Welcome to the magical domain of October. So we would prefer to have the house look like this year round.
And we have actually had our house look like this.
We've had a house where we did kind of, some of you who have joined us for the channeling circles for 10 years when we lived at Red Eagle Ranch, the whole house looked like Harry Potter, like a Harry Potter set.
All the time.
But more than just a Harry Potter set. Hi, everyone. Wherever you are, hi. And welcome back.
So to let
We dressed down today.
To let all the newcomers know a little bit about how we do this, we're going to chit-chat for a little while.
Let's
maybe
talk about
10, 15 minutes. And then we're going to take your questions and then we'll open up to super chats and all that. So you can hang on. You can wait for your questions. You can wait for your super chats. And as soon as people start joining, it gets really crowded. So we'll have to take some time to go back and read questions. But for now, what we're going to talk about. A little
blessing first.
We're going to talk about our favorite holiday. Our favorite. It's not even a holiday. It's our reality.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life is Halloween.
Yes. Well, welcome to Halloween. October, what is today, the 4th?
Today's the 4th.
You know what's so
we're supposed to be on Sunday.
Yes, let's clarify that. So we were away doing some very magical and mystical projects that we're working on, which we can't divulge just yet. But we will in a few months when we're given permission to talk about it.
Yep.
By our collaborators.
Yep.
But that's why we weren't here on Sundays. So then we started going, well, looks like Psychic Sundays is going to be on a Monday or a Tuesday. And then we were wrapped up with the work. And then we said, we can't do it because we like to start at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time because some of the people who are watching are on the East Coast. And then those of you who are joining us from other countries, from Scotland to South Africa to Australia to Japan, wherever you are, welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy October, which is finally here.
Yes.
I was counting down since basically November 1st last year.
Yes.
And then I just get over it. I get into Thanksgiving. I get into Christmas. And after Christmas, it's just like the dead zone because New Year's Eve doesn't really mean anything to me. And then it just goes dead for 6 months. And I focus on just being on the planet without Halloween. And I used to say to Oriah, why can't we just throw a Halloween party in April just to tide me over? Because this is, historically speaking, the season where the veil is thinnest.
Well,
you want to talk a little bit about the history of Halloween as we know it?
I do. Well, I have to start off with my magical assistant, our magical assistant, Miss Erica Merriweather.
Erica's in the house.
I'll have her come over here and say hello.
You all said, who is Erica? Is she real? She is real. Here she is. Say hello, my dear.
It's me.
There you go.
I'm real. I actually look like this all the time behind the camera. I'm not in costume. This is just the real me.
Your hair got really long since a few hours ago.
It's my instant growth potion.
It's a hocus pocus potion.
Last night. Thank you.
We need candy. What is everyone's favorite Halloween candy? Mine is candy corn. What's yours?
Well, Riz, I hate to spoil the party for you, but I am really not allowed to have sugar anymore. So we can't talk about that.
None of that counts in October.
I know, but it kind of counts. But candy corn is my favorite.
Is it really?
Legitimately, since
Why did I forget that?
met you, and then
your
because
favorite.
we're twins in a lot of ways.
This is my Halloween mug as opposed to your Halloween mug, which is there.
Yeah.
Candy corn, what are you guys' favorite? I like candy corn. Let me give you my top 3. Number 1 is candy corn. Number 2 might be, and this is just for Halloween. I'm not talking candy in general, but just for Halloween, because I don't eat candy corn any time of the year.
Right.
I do like, and I never eat them, but I do like caramel apples.
We have some people's favorites here. They like Snickers, Starburst. I remember that.
Starburst. You took me back.
I could taste it. You say Starburst, I can taste the Starburst.
Which color was your favorite? We say color, but not flavor.
Actually red.
See, I liked...
Thank you, Miriam. Thanks. Yes. So these vibes here, let's go into it a little deeper. Because Halloween is during a time when everybody agrees that the veil is thinner.
Yes.
We collectively create a scenario where we actually get to feel more and see more and experience more. And of course, it goes all the way back to the Druids. And we're talking, this was like a major religion. Paganism is a major religion.
Well, it's the earth religion. It's kind of all of our roots, right?
Yeah.
And Samhain, which is what it was called, the roots of Halloween. Should we go into that? We should go. It's fun to talk about where Halloween came from. For me, it is at least.
Yeah.
So Samhain, which people write Samhain, but I don't know why they just don't write Samhain. That actually means the end of summer in Gaelic. So it was just about the ending of the bright days and going into the darker months. So it's where the veil between this world and the next world, or this world and this dimension and the other dimensions, becomes thinner.
Right.
And if you look at different cultures in the world, while Samhain was being experienced, then you also had Dia de los Muertos, which is also exactly at the same time, which is about the thinning of the veil between the worlds.
Right.
And Samhain, like Dia de los Muertos, is actually very much about honoring life. So there's celebrations, but Samhain was the same way. Like Halloween, we went more into the spooky as it grew and evolved, right? So Halloween is now this thing.
How many countries do you think get involved in Halloween now? You mentioned that India is starting to get involved.
They are. Yeah. I mean, but it was, well, it's also interesting because in India, around that time, you also have Diwali, which is the festival of lights. So I found that interesting also. So there is an ancient truth to this time period having to do with coming out of summer into autumn, where the nights are getting longer, the days are getting shorter, and you have this compulsion to go get cozy, to light your candles, to cook certain foods, and to feel more at one with like this inner world. And certainly as a psychic medium and channeler, I do have to say, when you set that mood and when the season comes, I feel extra connected.
Yeah. Extra
connected. And when all of these symbols from, you have all our skulls, and even the like on your mug, you have the skull.
Somebody said, Veronica said, shout out to the mugs. They are cool. Well, I love that.
The mugs are happy.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I really truly feel when people come together collectively, like just like the Christmas spirit, which we also love Christmas, but the spirit of Halloween, just what it embodies, and it embodies different things for many different people, obviously. I mean, there's so many, it's such a wide range, but just the feeling of being spooked, I think it puts us in a different mood.
Yeah.
And I think we get heightened. I think our senses become more heightened. And, you know, if you're feeling kind of psychic, this is a great time where you can get your tarot deck out.
Yes.
And you could start learning how to throw cards, and you can start going into, they call it divination, right?
Yes, well, it is divination. Look, the sixth sense is something that exists in all people. And anytime that we have our live readings, I want to tell you guys something. A lot of you guys who watch want to develop your psychic abilities, especially if you're watching live. There's an energy that's happening when I'm doing readings, when Oriah is always in her empath mode, and this will rub off on you in a way. The vibrations are traveling instantaneously. It's not, there's no physical, there's a physical distance between us, but there's no spiritual distance between us. So get out your crystals. You know, I have some of our crystals here. Put out your deck, your tarot deck, or your angel cards, or whatever little tools that you have. Light a candle. I always say get cozy when this podcast comes on, because we're usually here for 2 hours, and this is a time to drop in. There's a transmission that happens of energy, of a magical energy. And that's what I see Halloween as, is I'm into the magic of it. Of course, I love the so-called spookiness of it.
Right.
And, you know, I got my wizard's hat on today. A wizard is never early or late. He arrives precisely when he means to, Frodo. Bilbo Baggins and Frodo Baggins. This is... I love wearing this. I wish I could wear this all the time. I'm actually going to wear this when we go to Glastonbury. Glastonbury is an amazing place in England. You should go. It is where Merlin's cave is. Yeah. Can we talk about Merlin, the spirit guide? Someone was recently saying to me, how can you channel Merlin? Oh, Look who's here for Halloween.
Hey, let her
Look
see.
at that face.
She wanted to come to me.
Well, she's coming, but I want these people to see her.
He does this all the time.
This is not the same cat as last week.
The cats come to me, and he grabs them from me and takes them. Can you freaking believe that?
She had to get on camera today.
Yeah.
So Merlin, people say, how can you channel Merlin? He wasn't a real person. Really? How do you know that? Now it's a battle between what's written in certain books or textbooks or so-called historical books, when spirit guides, especially like Merlin, and that name has been kind of changed over the years, but when I channel Merlin, that's the name he uses. You say, well, it was written in a book. There are spirit guides who exist who channel their information and their energy and their personality essence to writers, to channelers, but specifically in this case, you might say people who are writing. And that personality, that identity of who they are, is transmitted psychically and then becomes this archetypal, iconic figure, which is consistently referred to. For example, Gandalf from Lord of the Rings is Merlin. Dumbledore from Harry Potter is Merlin. And they are the contemporary kind of focal points that we have to understand the wizard energy. So we come from a different kind of history, which is a metaphysical psychic history that we connect to these guides and we make it a part of our life because their messages are so magical and inspiring and really get into creation. Mm-hmm. And that's why we call our podcast Metamystic, because we take it to another level so you really understand it. There have been many so-called mythological beings, but who said they're mythological? Modern, established institutions, religions who came over and beat the crap out of the indigenous cultures, which were Ireland and in every culture, right? Which were the earth religions, and said you can't believe in that. So in Celtic tradition, there was Cernunnos or Cernunnos, and Cernunnos was this beautiful god of the forest that played music with the flute and had these hooves for legs and was actually about goodness and all things good. And then the church came in and said, well, that's the devil. You can't use that or refer to that or worship that in any way. And then they took that image of the horns coming out and they turned it into this sign of evil, which was so ridiculous. So just like the snake is a symbol of transformation, shedding the skin. It's the symbol of modern medicine. If you look at on any pharmacy, it's the snake going around, right? That there's a sword. I don't know what's in the middle, but the snake represents healing.
Who was the guide? Hippocrates? Is it
Hippocrates?
Hippocrates, right? Yeah. So
Hippocrates was the founder of, they say, modern medicine, right?
Right.
So we are always connected to our guides. You say, how do I connect to my guides? You are always connected to your guides. The better phrase would be, how do I open my connection further to my guides? Now, you may say, I never really feel my spirit guides, but they speak to you through what you would call what you might say are coincidences. When you see certain things, you go, I keep seeing those same numbers here. Or you might say, I thought of this person yesterday, and then 2 days later, who I haven't thought of in years, and then suddenly I run into them or their sibling or something.
I think that's been happening to a lot of people lately.
Right.
It's the synchronicities. There's so many synchronicities where you think of something and you see it on your phone or it pops up or a license plate or a sign. And it's so uncanny. Your
guides are giving you these messages because your guides aren't here to like hit you over the head with a message. They want you to develop your sensitivity. Now, sometimes the guides do hit you over the head with a message, but that's rare. Usually it's you're starting to connect dots. You're like, someone keeps mentioning this name to me. And then that name pops up in a very important moment in your life. I've had people tell me that they're thinking of something and then an hour later, a truck goes by with the image of that on the side of the truck. And you guys have had experiences like that. So your enlightenment or your connection to your magical self, especially during this time of the autumn, and now we're coming out of the summer, that is where the harvest is. And as the trees grow bare, you are coming into understanding that so much is in the so-called darkness It's the womb. The womb is dark also. So this represents that light comes out of the darkness, but darkness not bad. It's just a contrast. It's just like you are birthing something. So when we are dropping in psychically, we set the mood even at times. It's nice to set the mood, light a candle. Candles do tend to ward off mischievous spirits. And that's why they're used everywhere in the world, in religions and also, the major religions, so-called, and then in the spiritual community as well. So Samhain, happy Samhain, everyone. This is a time where you get cozy and make meals. You can hold a channeling circle or a seance. You can share. You can put candles in pumpkins. And they used to use turnips.
Yeah, I remember that.
They used turnips initially. And there's so much that you can do during this time because rituals are, you have your ritual. You have your morning ritual. You brush your teeth, you drink your coffee, you stretch your body. There's a certain, that's called a ritual. And it keeps you on track, right? So what are your spiritual rituals? Is the word ritual in spiritual?
I think so.
Is it, Erica? Yeah, the word ritual is in the word spiritual. That's so interesting. So it's the practice of these things that you believe in and want to expand upon. So Halloween, that's kind of like, we can always drop some knowledge about Halloween. I have a question for you. What was your first Halloween costume that you were really happy about?
Oh. When I got excommunicated out of the Christian religion at 16, I celebrated by being
that
exorcist
fast. Yeah.
just to prove a point.
Wait, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Say it again.
So when I got excommunicated out of my Christian religion at 16, I celebrated finally by being the exorcist to prove a point.
So were you were you Linda Blair?
I did a version of Linda Blair mixed with ghoul and black and I just mixed everything together.
Troublemaker, disruptor, and my hero.
True story. There's a lot of people here I'd like to give shout outs to.
Look at his lollipop she bought today.
So we're going to start. I'm just going to go down the list. I want to say hi to a bunch of people who are jumping on. So and excuse me if I mangle your name. I will do the best I can. So hi, Laura Dominguez. She just popped in. Veronica, Rain. Hello again. Maisha, Elijah, Miriam, Debbie Gibson. Hello, lady. Miriam, Bernadette, Veronica, Shadat. Right? Said it right?
She nailed it.
Chantel, let's see, Leon. Hey, Leon, what's up? It's moi, Sherry, Steven, back from Egypt.
Excellent, Erin.
Can't wait to hear about that. Veronica. Let's see, we have another Debbie and Amy.
Names, for sure.
Yes, and we have Eby and Amy, Tony, Veronica.
Someone sitting with
Barry,
their black cat. Also.
Carla, Gina, Miriam. Good to see you guys again. Baron Von Crunch, the captain, is in the house. Catherine, Lydia, Adelie, Bernadette again. Yes, L Smart, Veronica Reed.
Well, hi guys. Thanks for joining us. If you've been here before, welcome back.
Yes.
This is our coven of good witches.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, men are also called witch. Sometimes they say a male witch is a warlock. Mm-hmm. And simply just meant that you were practicing Wicca. And guess what? In a way, everyone practices Wicca. Did you know that?
In which way?
Well, first of all, just if you eat things out of the ground, which is every single human.
Well, that's true.
But if you find a magic in the moon, if you
have an apothecary collection,
you earn herbs, or you understand that nature is your medicine, or that you know that you are kind of moving with the seasons, that you don't.
It's like honoring each season. And each season you have a special ceremony that you do. It could be special foods that you cook. It could be special drinks that you make, parties that you have, and certain ways that you bring ceremony into your life. And we believe that's your version of bringing these old traditions of celebrating from your pagan roots, from your druid roots.
Oh, you can't get away from it. You cannot get away from it. But the power of Halloween.
By the way,
yeah,
since we're going to be filming quite a few episodes in October, each time we film, we're going to be in a different costume.
We are. We have to keep it real. Okay,
Yeah.
so
this is us being real. Or most people.
This is actually more our true selves than any.
This is when most people are not being themselves, but this is actually when we're our true selves.
That's very interesting that you're saying that.
Don't you think that happens to a lot of people, though?
On Halloween.
Do you guys notice that when you put on a costume, sometimes you're like, wait.
This is more me.
This is like who I really actually am. Why can't we just...
But you see, you're tapping into the magic of what Halloween... I know. You're tapping into what the magic of Halloween really is that when you're putting on that costume...
Wouldn't you feel better if you went in the bank and did a transaction and the bank tellers are all in costumes, but like every day, and they're always in... It's like bringing that levity and bringing that kind of fun.
I think that's a much
color.
better way to use your energy, is to think about how you would like to put what costume you want to do the next day.
Oh yeah,
we waste a lot of time wearing and repeating the same things over and over and over and over again.
Yes,
but Halloween is well. So that was your exorcist. What was yours, Erica? Erica was Mr. T.
That was the ultimate. There's nothing better than that.
That gave me chills.
I love that I love this little Caucasian white girl from Erie, Pennsylvania, put on a giant black man with a mohawks. Right. Gold and costumes, and I love that.
Oh,
that's what we call oneness. That's what we call oneness. And I bet you there's other little girls that Mr. T found out about that were dressing up as him.
I'm impressed,
Imagine what that
Erica.
must feel like, right? To go through what you've been through as Mr. T in your life. And there's this sweet little girl from Pennsylvania dressed up as you. And right? That's amazing.
And what was your first costume that you liked?
I have a very sad story about Halloween.
But you said favorite costume that you like.
Yeah, but I have a Venus in Cancer, so that makes me very sentimental and feel sorry for myself sometimes. Moon. Yeah. So I'll just tell this story really quick. So I didn't know what Halloween was. I was in kindergarten, and my family came from India. And I was 5. I didn't really have any exposure to Halloween because I was in the house raised by my Indian parents, even though I was American. But now you're in kindergarten, so you're out there with the world. And I went to school on Halloween, and all the kids were in costume, and I was like blown. I didn't know what was going on.
This is a sad
Just
story.
Imagine. And so...
you guys,
I know you know this story.
This is a sad story. Just get ready.
So I was just blown away. There was candy, there was cakes, everybody was having fun. They were playing music, the kids were dancing around. I saw all these costumes. So I went home and told my mother that I have to get a costume. So she got me a costume. So of course the next day I went to school in my costume. Yeah. And I walked into my kindergarten class, and the teacher, she just took one look at me. I stood in the doorway wearing my costume. It was a Howdy Doody costume. Do you even know who Howdy Doody is? He was a clown from the old days. Because we're going to the 70s now. He was already out of date in the 70s, Howdy Doody. But anyway, I put the Howdy Doody costume on, and I remember standing at the doorway, and I peeked in, and I saw no one was wearing a costume, and I kind of froze. And the teacher looked at me. She's like, without missing a beat, she's like, "Oh no, baby! Oh no, baby! Oh, okay, baby! Just okay, baby! Let me handle you." She was the Bronx. Oh my God! I
am so sorry.
I got leftover candy.
Every time I hear this
you feel sorry
story,
for Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin? Charlie Brown? No, me. They need to make a story about me. I need to do that. But let me jump to my favorite costume as a kid. I was C-3PO. It was those plastic costumes in a box.
I wish I could have seen that. Do you have pictures?
Somewhere someone does. Probably one of my friends from elementary school.
That.
The mask was beautiful. I have to tell you, it was gold. It was so beautiful. What were you guys' favorite costumes? And then it has to be last year when I was Randy Macho Man Savage. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was epic.
So let's see.
So
was Chucky.
So everyone's saying hello. So how do you feel? Do you want to do?
Good.
Do you want to do?
I need to be able to scroll though, so I should need to move this screen a little bit this way. Is that all right? And where I can scroll this way, I can just kind of scroll back.
Well, there's no questions yet because we haven't told everybody to ask questions yet.
Yes.
I think there's one or two.
Oh, yeah. We do have some super chats that came in. Chantel.
Do you have a napkin there or tissue? Ariel? The lights sometimes give me the sniffles.
Yeah. I like the fact that we have our own podcast because we can be as relaxed as we want and nobody can tell us anything.
I can answer the door if an Amazon person comes and I can go in my hat.
Or you can wipe your nose if it's running. Hey guys,
this is so not a Halloween.
We keep it real over here.
Yeah.
We keep it real over here on purpose because everything we do is so supernatural that we want to keep it as real as possible because that's just who we are.
So do you feel more psychic around this time?
I'm reading what other people are saying, how they feel, and I feel the same way that people are saying. You feel more free, like you feel more like everyone gives everybody a break, that you're allowed to just enjoy yourself and laugh a little louder and go outside and go to haunted houses and get together and talk to your neighbors in different ways. And, we're in LA. So, these big cities, you don't necessarily get together with your neighbors or you don't talk to your neighborhood as much in most areas.
Right.
But I feel like this is the time where everybody expects that. It's like more community. It's more like we're all in this together to experience. A lot of people celebrate Halloween. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of religious people who don't, but for the most part, I see a lot of people celebrate it. Yeah,
no matter how you celebrate it, there's still that little bit of magic that gets in. It's the spirit of it, and it's getting bigger and bigger. Have you noticed? Halloween Halloween is back. It's like lit. It's getting back. More people, and you want to know why I think it is? Because there's a the awakening that's happening for people is that their own sense of self, they're realizing there's a magic inside of them, and it's not about you placing that faith in that some institution or some president or some organization is going to give you that magic. And that's why more and more people are discovering energy work, discovering channelers, discovering networks like Gaia, looking on YouTube, buying angel cards. It's getting big crystals.
That was very psychic of you, mister.
Why?
Because somebody just asked a question and they said, what's the difference between tarot and oracle and angel cards? Shelley.
Okay. Hi, Shelley. Well,
see how that happened right there? He just jumped right in without even looking.
Yeah. So obviously the tarot, which is the original deck of tarot. And look, when we say original, what I mean by that is the first kind of globally recognized used deck of tarot cards is the Rider-Waite deck or Rider-Waite deck. And it is the one that has kind of older looking artwork on it. And that is considered the official tarot deck. And I believe that it takes quite a bit of time to really understand how to use that deck. So while you're learning that deck, you can also work with other decks to warm you up. So angel cards you can go to any metaphysical store and you'll see some of them are great. You'll see half the wall has all these decks. I feel that your deck should call to you, that you should really give yourself a moment when you're going to pick a deck out and take a few breaths, relax, turn your phone off, drop in, because This is just like in Harry Potter. It's not that the wizard chooses the wand, but the wand chooses the wizard. So the tarot deck chooses you.
This is where your psychic abilities start, is when you're standing there looking at your tarot decks. This is your introduction to that psychic realm, because this is where you're going to start feeling which deck actually calls to you, which deck speaks to you.
Yeah, because the deck itself is magical. Where it's coming from the people who actually channeled this, because these are 72 cards.
Right.
That you have to channel it. That takes time to channel a message, to put a sign to each card. What is going to be the image? The person who's receiving that information has to work with an artist to create those decks. It's an entire spiritual experience. And that connection or that magic that happens that's within the tarot deck. It's like crystals. So crystals, some people say, well, I buy crystals at a store, and if that crystal speaks to me. I want you guys to consider this information, that there are crystals that are asleep. Yes, that's the word I'm going to use. They're waiting to be activated or to be woken up. So it's not that there's a crystal laying there and you go, I don't feel anything from it, so that crystal is not for me. Hold on, wait a minute. Once you know that crystals can be awakened, activated by you touching them. So it's not always that the crystal has to, like, it's going to jump up with some energy and say, grab me. That does happen. but
I've seen you go through and touch so many different crystals, and then there's one particular one you get chills when you hold it.
And it's not usually the one that I particularly like. For example, initially, tiger's eye. I didn't like the way most tiger's eye looked.
The one that you had the biggest reaction was the meteorite. Was it a meteorite?
Yes, shungite.
Shungite.
So shungite spoke to me, and shungite's not particularly a beautiful or pretty crystal you want to wear around your neck. And that energetically spoke to me when I held it and really dropped in. So all the ways that we learn through meditation is to slow yourself down, to expand your sensitivity, quieting your mind. That's why the practice of meditation is essential for your psychic ability.
Well, you just jumped into the next psychic question.
So tarot, angel cards, tarot.
And now, Chantel asked about her meditation that's happening right now.
Well, let's go to Chantel's
now she's
question.
asking, she's saying, I'm assisting lost souls towards the light on the mountaintop here in the Appalachian Mountain, as channeled from my guides, by meditating, holding space, and assuming the magician pose as instructed by Jeshua. Any suggestions? So I'm not really sure exactly what the question is, but I feel like she just wants any notes or any...
Well, I think the suggestions would be that you'd like to, how to understand the messages and how to increase your, I would say, your capacity or your receiver, okay, to understand. Your guides are going to speak in a vocabulary, Chantel, that is specific to you. Let me give you some examples. They're very practical, real-life examples. I was a kid that a lot of the time I came home from school because my mom worked, and I would come home and I would do my homework, and I would watch TV for a few hours. That's really just the way it was. And I learned a lot about like families and friendships and things through television. And those stories stayed in my mind. I could name episodes of certain shows for the rest of my life because I absorbed all of that information. Also with music. This is before the internet and all of that. So when you got a record or a cassette when you were a kid, it was like you didn't know anything about the artist. So you read everything you could on the album and the inner sleeve and who wrote the song and what does this song mean and trying to figure out the lyrics. So music and television actually informed me and became sort of a vocabulary for me about life. And when I first started getting messages, my spirit guides would remind me of episodes from television shows that had storylines that had to do with something that was going on either in my life or the person I was giving a reading to. This is actually how it happened. And that is the way they had to communicate with me because I didn't necessarily learn about all the spirit guides and the archangels and who is Saint Germain and who is Merlin. It was literally through pop culture references. This is the verbatim truth to you about how it happened to me. So you have to discover what that is. For some people, it may be if they were growing up on a farm and they learned a lot about animals, it might have been the temperament of the animal. And so they're giving a reading and they're like, oh, they see a cow. That's because they were raised on a farm or they spent impactful time on a farm. So the cow represents a certain feeling or mood. And when they're giving the reading or they are doing some sort of healing work, that energy, that emotional energy, because remember, it's always emotional energy. Spiritual energy is the emotion of love in its free-flowing form, not any other so-called emotion. So you're in that surrender, and then that becomes this flow, and information starts to come to you. You start to be able to read a physical body because you can feel where that flow isn't happening, and you go, there's something going on here in the knee when you're reading a person's energy over their body because your hand itself has become so sensitive because you yourself inside are so sensitive. So when we're doing things like you say, the magician's pose, those poses are important because those poses are to help you be in that, I want to say, in that position. It's like positioning an antenna back in the, we position a satellite dish, don't you? If you want to pick up certain signals. So think of your body that way. In fact, even long hair was considered to be, why did all these prophets and wizards, why do they all have long hair? It was a very deeply held belief that the hair was kind of an antenna. The hair is coming out of your crown chakra. right? So it was the extension, it was feelers, it was the extension of your nervous system going out there, your psychic nervous system, to be able to receive through those antennas. So what I would say to you is make sure that you're, Chantel, to finish this message up real quick and move forward, is the opening of your physical body through deep stretching and breathing into it, because since you mentioned the physical aspect of holding that pose and helping others to kind of navigate onto the other side, remember something also, they have free will. So a soul can choose to stay here. That's why we have hauntings. And what you can do is go into the understanding of where they are at and then work with that. And then if you're there to help someone move on from this physical life to the next, that you understand that they've made this choice on a higher soul level. It's a longer discussion, but I love it. It feels really good for you also. So also work with water. Cleanse yourself with water right after you do this. I feel that that it's almost like that ritual will help you greatly. Also, aqua quartz. Look it up. Actually, aqua quartz looks like this, but a brilliant, brilliant blue. And that's because they do a process to it. It doesn't affect the power of that crystal or the capabilities. In fact, I think it enhances it. Thank you.
Okay.
Hope that helps.
We have Olivia.
Hello, Olivia. What's the question?
Any messages from my guide?
Yes. Immediately, what is coming up? I see 3 guides around you. I'm going to call them the Magi. It's like the 3 wise men, but the Magi, or the wise men, actually were the 3 wizards. They were magicians. They were healers. They were channelers. They were connected on a deep, deep level to the other side. So what they are bringing forward to me right now is actually a very carnival-like atmosphere where they're saying, don't make us so serious. Suddenly, as I was telling that, they're like, stop making us so serious. We're actually here to have fun with her. So this is about bringing more color into your life. Changing colors is the number one thing I'm getting. What does that mean? If the wall in your living room is a certain color, just change it for the sake of change. Not because you necessarily have to, or it's this big feeling and you're making it so serious. This is a time for you now, Olivia, to be more fluid and light on your feet. And you say, why not? I think I'm going to make that wall pink just because I'm in the mood for it. And then I'm going to throw out these old sneakers and get another pair of colors. So I think I'm going to, instead of wearing black for a while, I'm going to wear something else. Or instead of wearing something else, I'm going to wear black for a while. Why? Because color is frequency. There is a metaphysical reason for this physical message, right? The message is about doing things physically, but there's metaphysical reasoning behind it because color is frequency, Olivia. So when we understand that color is frequency and we understand color therapy, certain colors kind of make us feel a certain way. You're now in a period of where you're attuning yourself to cutting out the noise, saying no to anything that I want to say ultimately waste your time, but repeating certain social events. Don't be afraid to go places alone. If you want to go somewhere and no one else wants to go with you, it doesn't matter. You still go. Because it's almost like there is this guidance system right now in you, Olivia, that is needing to be heightened and sharpened and upgraded. So anytime you're working with frequency, what's another type of frequency? Don't put on anything as background noise anymore. Meaning, because that starts to like go into your subconscious. So no more background noise. And if there is, you need some noise in the background or music, make sure that it's anything that actually uplifts you, but volume's low. You're trying to quiet your mind right now because I feel your hearing is also very sensitive. I'd like to know that if you would drop me a note here and tell me how sensitive your hearing is. Or if you've had any issues where you go, I have this ringing or I hear this high-pitched sound or... Yeah, I'd like to know that. Okay.
So we have Moomy here on my lap.
Oh,
and look what she's doing.
What is she doing?
She's inspecting everything we did to this. Watch if you stop petting her.
Do you see her little face?
If you stop petting her,
yeah.
Look what she does. She looked at every single item. She wanted to see what I did, and she was just so interested. And I love that.
Well,
I love how she's so interested in all
wizards and witches need cats, don't they?
Yeah,
look at the tail.
She's my familiar. She has a little scrawny rat tail, and I make fun of her all the time.
Hey, you know how she's like 12 now, isn't she?
I know.
Is she 12? And she still looks like a baby. Cats are the mothers of the... I feel that they're very mothering.
Well, you got quite a few questions that came in. Do you want to start scrolling?
Yeah, I'm going to start scrolling over here. Someone said, I love aqua quartz. Yeah. Check out aqua quartz, everyone.
Say their name because we're trying to...
Miriam said she loves aqua quartz. Hi, Miriam. Okay. All right, so let me go over here and kind of... there were some questions way back. Hi, L Smart. I'm kind of new to this. Want to read this one for me?
I'm kind of new to this and would love to know who my guides are and how to communicate with them.
Hey, Erica, who was Jack Kerouac?
Oh, he was a writer in the 50s and 60s that wrote On the Road, like the Beat Generation. And
Oh, so she's saying that Jack, because as soon as you said who are your guides, I heard Jack Kerouac.
And do you know why he asked Erica? Because she's our resident Virgo trivia queen.
Yes.
And I was obsessed with the 60s when I was a kid.
You were obsessed with the 60s when you were a kid?
He meant a lot to me as a writer, actually.
Jack Kerouac meant a lot to you also, so, well, maybe you will glean something from this message. Am I using the word glean properly?
Yes.
See, another question that I ask. Go, ask Erica. Okay.
Is it with an N or an M?
N.
Gleam.
Glean.
Or glean.
Glean.
And wait,
N like Nancy
With
or
an
M
N.
like Mary?
N like Nancy. With an M, it's
Glean.
like a... Yeah, I think gleam with an M is a toothpaste. I don't know. Did you see this?
quote me on that.
Hold on. I need to why are you hiding this?
Because it's so big. Watch what happens when you put it on the table.
People will like it. Look, it's Halloween. There you go. Isn't that better? Okay. Okay.
Make him talk.
Make him talk?
Yeah. What would he say?
It's the Mystic Madness Show. Ooh. You know what would be cool if we had
He's
it on
not
a
looking
string?
at the camera anymore, though.
Maybe if he was on a string and he just floated by. Okay, let's put him here.
Wait, he's not
there.
facing the camera.
There you
Okay.
go. Look, he's kind of in shadow.
Okay.
L Smart is saying, can you just get to my message? No, I have to play with that first. Helps me. I should do things that relax me. And then I'll give more readings. So Jack Kerouac, interesting. That's the first name that I heard. It's interesting you said something about the road because I actually felt road trip around this. Forgive my ignorance that I don't know who he is, but the name came to me. He's one of your guides. And what I'm getting is writing, storytelling for yourself, reliving. So, okay, you said you were kind of new to this. Actually, your soul is not new to this because this, what we call this, the new age, the spiritual, the esoteric, the new age is the old age. It's where we all come from before all this organized way of worshiping came in with all these rules. We were more connected to the earth. We were more connected to the cosmos. We were more connected to the other side. Then these words started becoming words like paranormal, metaphysical, supernatural. The supernatural is the natural. You just call it the supernatural because you're just waking up to it because it was outside your scope of what you think the natural is. Spirits, energy, all of that is natural. Spirit guides, dimensions, all of this is natural. Auras, understanding crystals, all of this is natural. It's not supernatural. Paranormal, there's ghosts. That's normal. There's always been ghosts. We're just out of the body. So we just use these terms to kind of organize like what we're talking about. So know that in one sense, you're not new to this. In the other sense, you are new to this. You're rediscovering it this lifetime. So the reason you're interested in it is because something is ringing true to you about it. Something is intriguing you about it. There is a beautiful vibration probably that you feel that's both intriguing and also comforting, exciting, and also you really want to know like what is the real stuff because like who do you believe, right? So I would want to say to you is a few things about your guides. That spirit guide, that rider is in there for you about reading more, diving into these books, learning more. Other thing that I'm getting is working on your throat chakra. So the chakras are the systems of energy points within the physical body that each of these chakras pertain to a sense of self, or love and compassion, your heart chakra, or your root chakra is whether you feel safe on the planet, and your second chakra, which is about your creativity, your sensual or sexual side of yourself. All of these different chakras, your third eye chakra, your crown chakra, learn about them, read about them. And right now, that is what your guides are taking you to. Also, I want to say that as I see a beautiful scarab beetle as a symbol for you, and it's interesting because Egypt and ancient Egypt is so much a part of what we're interested in, but it's beyond even that. It's the actual, look at the shimmer and the color of that, and allow yourself to research a little bit about that magic. Maybe you had a past life over there in ancient Egypt, which is called Kemet.
Okay, so we have about 4 or 5 super chats.
Let's go to super chats. Listen,
now, Sherry
here we go.
Sarner needs to ask a question specifically. So
ready.
She got a super chat but didn't ask a question. So please send in your question. And also, as far as the rest of you, there's a lot of really good questions
Let's
in
go
here.
for it. You know what? Just go for it.
Yes. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the super chats first, because that's how we roll. And then we're going to get to all your questions, and we'll just mix it in between. But we always kind of do it this way.
Okay, let's go for it.
All right. So let's start at the top and see what we have done so far.
How about we do a super chat question, then a non-super chat question?
Okay.
And let's do it that way.
Okay. Maisha Shad.
What's the question?
Directions from my guides on how to open my heart and solar chakras. Both chakras have prevented and presented challenges.
Well, the chakra, this has the heart chakra for you, Maisha. Hi, Maisha. Has everything to do. You know, I want to give you an image. I want you to imagine a beautiful, small little castle, not a giant castle, but a small one. And it has like beautiful kind of off-white grayish stone. And it's this beautiful little castle. Maybe a family or two lives in there. And there's a little drawbridge. And I want you to imagine that over time, that all this moss grew over it. And all these vines grew over it. So, and it's in the middle of this forest. And grass kind of like was overgrown, and where there used to be a pathway, and nobody's really lived in there for too long. For a long time, excuse me. And the visual I'm getting is that you're walking through this forest and you come upon this pretty quaint little castle. And I want you to think of that as your heart center. And that's what they're giving me. And by the way, Guinevere is coming through for this message. Look up Guinevere from the time of King Arthur and these spirit guides of Merlin and Guinevere. And what she's guiding me to is, imagine that you're going there and you're stepping off of your horse and you realize that this castle is your heart center. And you are now going to climb up it and peel the moss off of it and the vines off of it. And you're going to see it's still quite beautiful. So you opening your heart is more coming back to you saying, it's not that your heart is actually broken, or that I do see where you lost trust and where you felt safe, especially in the areas of intimacy. And now Guinevere is saying, it's almost like she's saying, no, she is saying, you always were connected to your heart. And this has been just, now it is time for you to cut away these vines, cut away this moss that is there, because it served you for a few years. I actually have to go back to, they're saying, go back to 2017, that whatever was occurring at that particular year was a signal for you, a chapter you had to go through, and you're coming out of it now. Next question.
Okay, so you want to just pick a random question?
Yeah, and let's go to...
You can scroll around.
Sure. Did you want to pick something out for me?
Well, there's a lot of really good questions.
Okay, let's see. Hello from Sparks, Nevada.
Yeah, you're up at the top, but you can also...
Yes, I'm going to go back here. I just want to say one thing. Solar plexus chakra, Maisha. So glad you brought it up, because it is the most neglected chakra. It's the golden yellow, the solar plexus. It is your sense of self. There's more to it, but it's your sense of self and presence in the world. This was so that you understand the humility. The reason why it was blocked is you had to go through feeling that insecurity of whether you belonged or whether you felt safe to come out, because that was actually a very powerful and beautiful chapter that now you can let it go. And, you know, if there's someone you trust, you can ask them, just place their hand right there and sink into it. I feel also grandmother energy around you right now. I feel an older lady on the other side placing her hand there on you. You giving yourself the time. It's almost like you're going more into sadness there rather than surrender. So sometimes just a hand there helps you to surrender to that trust. You also remember yellow things, sunflowers, the crystal citrine, lemons, like focus on that color and that vibration.
So I have a question
Yes.
for you. Lori B.
Yes.
Hi, Riz and Oriah. Thank you for everything that you do for us. I appreciate you both so much. Thank you, Lori. We appreciate you too. My question is, I'm walking down the path of mediumship and I need to know if I'm on the right path.
Oh, the path of mediumship. How it twists and turns. There are days that you may feel totally disconnected and you go, what am I doing? Am I kidding myself? And I like that. Here's how that has helped in the 20 years that I have been doing this. Those moments back, especially in the beginning, where you question everything, just as any human being, of what is happening. The secret of this work is the ability to let go and trust, and it's okay for you, especially in the beginning, to make mistakes and misread the message, and it's okay. You're just becoming more conscientious of knowing how to. It's almost like balancing yourself on a bike. When the training wheels come off, there's this innate sense of balance that comes forth and develops because the training wheels are off, and you start to ride. And then you start to become a better and better bicyclist, especially if you're paying attention. And so this path of mediumship that you're on, remember something, is that if you're meant to get a message, you're going to get it. If you are not, you're not going to. There are times you do a mediumship reading and a person is coming because they really want a message from one person, and the neighbor comes through, or the friend or the kind of not even the good friend, but someone they knew in high school comes through, and they're like, wow, I really wanted this particular person to come through. Well, you can't force anyone to come through in a reading. You can ask and request. Sometimes a good thing is to tell your clients, if there's a particular person you'd like a message from, please make a prayer or a request for them to come through on this particular date. You're going to be having a reading. And so you can say this to people that you're helping, but allow yourself the capacity to sometimes be off for yourself in the beginning. As time goes on, you're not going to be off, because there are times that people give a reading. It's happened even here where I've said something on a reading. After all these years, I'll say something on a reading and the person says, oh, that I don't know what that name is. And then we'll get an email like a week later, oh my God, I was on the live and this actually happened. So sometimes a person has to experience life even after your reading to connect those dots. So I do like this for you, but stick to the quality and the practice of opening up more. The quality of what you do is way more important about whether you're going to be making it a business or not. When you're good, people know it and people talk about you, and just trust in that.
Okay, so we're going to our next super chat question from Olivia Gabriel. Any message from my guide?
Didn't we do it, Olivia?
Did we? Miss E, you weren't.
There was an Olivia we already did.
Okay, well, double check, Olivia. Did
Okay,
we
you
already
passed
give
by
you a
somebody
message?
here.
Well, we're going to a super chat next.
Oh,
'cause
okay.
We're doing every
okay,
other.
every other. Okay.
Okay, so shout out. Can you tell me the name of my gatekeeper or lifetime guide?
Is it? Yeah, give me a moment. Hi. Boy, you know what's amazing is that, and this happens every time. I think we're on our 7th episode of live.
Oh, and before you get started,
Yes.
the person that we wanted, what was her name? The person that we wanted to get a question from that
Yes.
she did the super chat.
Yes.
Erica found her question.
Yes.
Veronica, there's two.
Okay, so I'll go back and look for her.
Let me go into Charlotte.
I sent you the questions on your
Oh, so, okay.
All right.
So this is one of the questions from the super chats. We'll go back to her later. We found it. And
Okay,
then-
so let
but
me answer
do-
Charlotte's question
yes.
about it, because I'm just tuning into, ooh, your wing got me in my ear. Maybe it's supposed to. Scratching my ear right there with your wing. That's good. You read my mind.
I would like to take this moment to do a PSA and let you know that Riz is one of the most sensitive human beings I have ever met in my life, which creates a very interesting situation when you live with somebody this sensitive.
So I'm just tuning into Sharath's guides for a moment because, you know, when I do these lives, so many guides come forward, and I'm just asking that one to step forward, who is the gatekeeper. Gatekeeper, please. Thank you. You know who I see is Pegasus, the winged horse. I want you to keep that in mind. Yes, you can have what you call a spirit animal as your as your gatekeeper, but Pegasus speaks in very clear language. And I want you to imagine that beautiful, large, white stallion with like a silver outline and crystal eyes and the wings expanding and the muscles of this giant creature. And I want you to imagine in your dream time, Sharath, and do this meditation as you're sleeping. It's a very good time to connect with your gatekeepers, is ask them to be with you in the dream time as you're drifting off to sleep. And I want you to imagine that you are riding on Pegasus, or that Pegasus' wings are opening up the cosmos for you through the clouds, and you are drifting off and being led through there with a beautiful white light of protection and connection, not just protection light around you, but connection light around you. There you go. Yes, let's go to the next one.
Okay. You want to do this one?
You said there was someone from before? Remember you said you were going there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so Jennifer W. Super Chat.
Yes.
I have a question about my love life. I've been single for a little over 4 years, dating myself and focusing on self-growth, self-love, and worth. I'm ready for my life partner. Do you see a life partner?
I do, actually. By the way, before I get to that, I wanted to say you have very sensitive skin. That's what your guides immediately jumped up to tell me, and to say that it's because of you've been running a lot of powerful energy through yourself. Your meditations are doing great for you. Also, I was wondering if you have learned yet how to stand on your head yet, and to do a headstand or do inversions in yoga, because you could actually do it. And to think about that kind of, and the message is actually tied into your love life. It's about seeing things differently, right? When we stand on our heads, and they're showing me that she can learn to stand on her head, because now you're stepping into not what kind of partner do I want, but the question or the mantra should be, this is going to be interesting to see who I attract. Switch from what kind of partner do I want to this is going to be super interesting to see whom I attract. That way you understand that the universe works always on frequency matches. I will say this to you. This person feels very physically close. I don't feel this person in a different city than you. I also feel that this person is almost, it's like they're 1 degree of separation away from you. It doesn't feel like a complete stranger. Even though you may not have met this person yet, they have been around situations or people that you also have been around. And I like it. Also, I see a March birthday with this person. I see March, so that either means you will meet them in March, or this is that they were born in March. What would that make them? Pisces or an Aries? As 2 different signs as you can possibly get. But yes, there you go. Yes, of course it's coming to an end, the chapter of singledom for you. You know that. You can smell it. You can taste it. You have to be able to smell it in the air, like the way you smell Cinnabons when you're walking through the mall. You go, there's a Cinnabon in here. That's what's happening to you right now. It's coming. Actually, it's more like, not that it's coming for you. You're catching up to it. Good for you. That feels very nice. I like it.
Okay, so next question is from Dana Wendlin. Hello, love you guys. I was wondering, love you too. Thank you. I was wondering if my grandma is one of my guides, and does she have anything she wants to share with me?
Great question, Dana or Dana, is that yes, you know, we do have guides that are with us through many different lifetimes. They are sort of our official spirit guides. And they have roles. You have a guide that has to do, or several guides who are in your home. There, I call them the house spirits. Then there's your gatekeeper, who is kind of the bouncer at the club, outside the club, and checks the ID card and says, you can come in and talk to this person or not. They are with you forever. Then you have your guides that are your money guides. Yes, they actually have jobs. Like we have our jobs here too. They carry these gifts on into the next dimension where they souls eventually become spirit guides. So they each have their particular quality that or talent, right? So, Grandma, give me a moment. Yes, of course she's guiding you. That goes without saying. But I'll say it anyway. Let me just see what's happening here. I was wondering if... Okay. So, by the way, Moses... Yes, that Moses is one of your guides as well. But I want to say something because people consider Moses such a religious figure. Yes, he was known because of religion. Doesn't make it not spiritual. It's part of our kind of spirituality as well. Because these were healers. These were people who brought certain messages. But he's kind of coming down. It's like your grandma, when she got to the other side, this is the message, that it's almost like her mind opened up that all of these figures were all spirit guides that people mentioned in Greek so-called mythology, Hindu so-called mythology. I don't like how they say Hindu mythology and Greek mythology, but everything else is a religion. That really bothers me. No, none of it is mythology. All of it is psychic and experienced as real and as powerfully as anything else. But she realized this on the other side, and she was like, wow, it's all true. And then in a sense, none of it was true in the way she ever believed it. So she is having this big awakening happening, and she likes the candles. Are you lighting the candles? Also, I want to ask you this, is that she's showing me all these like things like this, like really sweet things, even though it has nothing to do with Halloween, the message. And she's like pinching your cheek. Yeah, she's like pinching your cheek. Yes, she's one of your guides. And the message that I'm going to give you straight up from that is coming through is that you actually have been fiercely protected these last 2 years. And I think you have to have known this. It's almost like something happens to other people, but it's not going to happen to you. And you're going to like this message. She is helping you with money. So good. Awesome for you.
Okay, so Sherry got back to us with her question from the super chat.
Hello.
And I will answer that, or we will answer that. But I would like to take a question that I think I can answer that I think would be very interesting. So, okay, so somebody asked right here, can you, I'm looking for the person who was right here, if you can select your spirit guide. Let me see, it was right here. Hold on. It was right here. Yeah. Okay. Stephanie Clark, can we ask any spirit to be our lifelong guides? So I want to answer this question because it actually happened to me.
Yep.
So I've gone through several. Somebody also asked earlier, what is a gatekeeper? I'll let Riz answer that question. But I went through several guides before I landed on my lifetime guide. And in the early days when I was first starting out, the kind of tender baby version of me needed a very soft and tender guide, and I did have one. And then I felt like I outgrew her, and this guide came in, and it was a male energy, and I did not like his vibe. I did not feel him. I didn't feel right. I talked to Riz about it, and I asked, could I get another guide? And I just didn't vibe with him, and I can't remember. It was like from the West, Old West times or something. And I just wasn't feeling him at all. And so he said, yes, you can actually. And I felt the energy of that guide leave me immediately. And I could not believe that. I was like, oh my God, that really worked. So then I allowed a new guide to come in. And then eventually I now have the same main lifetime spirit guide is Riz, because we share, the same life experiences. But why don't you share with everybody what a gatekeeper is before we go to answer this super chat question here?
Sure. I was just reading this one thing, but I will answer that question.
So he's not going to answer the gatekeeper question, so
Okay,
I'll ask
cool.
it. I'll answer it. So
I did. I said it was the bouncer that checks the card,
Okay, good.
the IDs. Yes.
Got it. Okay.
I like this. This is a very interesting question. Read that one from Damaris.
Damaris Lopez Connor, MBA. Hi, I visit with you once, and you said that my niece was the soft side of my heart. She has become the biggest headache. I'm running my business like a kindergarten teacher, and I don't know what to do.
Is that two different questions? Okay, so, hi, Damaris. Yes, you actually answered your own question. The people that give us the biggest challenges are there to initiate the opening of some part of us, the expansion of some part of us. The people that of course, you love her. You may not like her, but you love her. And what this is making you do is that there's always going to be, at certain chapters of your life, there's a person that is challenging you to be in the as you said, and this probably was years ago, I don't know, the soft side of your heart is to open the softer side of your heart and not take things personally from her, to understand that her role is it's almost like you're paying her back for something that she did for you in a past life. We do have these kinds of contracts. So understand that anytime anything triggers you, a person, an idea, a place, a smell, a taste, whatever triggers you into feeling bad, there's something that as a shaman and as a medium, I say to everyone, listen to these two words, scared and sacred. Scared and sacred have the same letters in them. You just move one letter around and scared becomes sacred. Now, why is that important here? Because that which bothers you, in this case, we're saying scares you, fear, negative emotions, that which has scared you has something sacred inside of it for you. So you say, well, I need patience. You can call it patience, but patience tends to run out. So you need to tap into something that's different. You say, this is a soul contract I have with my niece that is ordained by the universe, God, Great Spirit, whatever word you use for the force that we are a part of and one with, that we call creation. And you say that this is part of your path, Damaris, your path with your niece. She's a headache because she's doing things that you don't agree with, or saying things that you don't agree with, or living in a way you don't think someone should live. That's the only reason a person becomes a headache. So you will decide for yourself how to create boundaries, healthy boundaries, but at the same time, understand that there's something in it for you. Thank you. We just wanted to address that.
Okay. So Jennifer Whitmore says, thank you dearly for the extra insight. Yes, my skin is so sensitive, highly sensational. As a highly sensitive, I adore touching things and get vivid detail of past, present, and future visions.
Sure. That is also part of the art of psychometry, guys. What she was saying, was it Jennifer you said? Mm-hmm. So Jennifer was confirming when I was giving her the reading that I felt her skin was the super sensitive to all frequencies, electromagnetic, everything. By the way, in a very powerful way. You're not going to, I don't see you getting like sick from touching things. You're very protected with that white light you surround yourself with, and it's working. So that's a little message from your guides on that. Look up the 7 rays. The 7 rays were an ancient healing modality that had to do with the chakras, had to do with the colors of the rainbow, and each light, for example, Archangel Michael, master of the blue ray. So these were different guides who were working with that. That could also help you in this area. The psychometry, psychic art of psychometry, is being able to hold an object and to receive the messages that have been imprinted on it. So people have found missing people through psychometry, or they hold the watch of a person who passed away or an item, and they're able to use that as a connector, amplifying the psychic energies to receive the messages and give the transmission. Got it?
Okay, I want to get through a couple super chats.
Let's do it.
So, Sherry, we found your question. Sherry Sarner, she has a kind of a double question. Love.
Hello, Sherry.
Riz has stated love is the answer. I sense this means acceptance of everyone, non-judgment from the highest perspective. What is love? How is it applied? I.e., these are heavy questions. If you
What
have
is
a
love? Baby,
if you have a
don't
difficult
hurt me.
relationship, I guess
Don't
she's
hurt
asking
me. No.
what is love if you have a difficult relationship, and can I get a message from my guide? So I guess you can.
Is that
kinda
all?
Double.
What is love and what is the meaning of life?
And
Sure, I'll
where
text it to you.
Did the universe begin?
There is no beginning and no end. And you say, well, come on. I don't like that answer. Oh, you have to have a completely transcendental, mind-opening experience to understand the statement that there was no beginning and there is no end. How do I break it down into normal terms? Okay. If you said to someone...
Can
yes,
I
sorry.
interrupt you?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just having some times here with Sherry Sarner. So she's asking another question, but here's the thing. She's asked 3 questions. She paid for 1, but here's the thing. I'm going to choose one of the questions because I think this one is the most important one out of those 3 questions.
Is there a message from my dad? He recently passed. I can see that. My LASIK is awesome. I had LASIK.
That
and I can read that from over here.
Probably
What's your dad's first name? And then I'll get to that.
more important.
Listen, guys, also listen, we do super chats. You don't have to pay for a reading. It's really lovely that you do that. And it does get you to the top of the list because that's life on planet Earth. But I'm doing readings to people who are just asking the question. I just can't get to all of them. So I'm just kind of going where I feel. Okay. So sometimes I do a super chat question and sometimes I do a non-super chat question, just the comment in there. So just that's how I work.
So which one do you want to do next? A non or a super chat?
This
one was next.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, Veronica Reed, my being feels blocked. What can I do?
My being feels blocked?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big one. That's usually the sign that you're in line for, on the assembly line of spirituality. You're ready for a remodeling, a reset, a recalibration, a rebirth. Now, here are some signs. Veronica?
Yes, right here.
Here are some signs, Veronica, that you are in the spiritual ascension process. Chill for a moment. Drop in with me here. Number 1, you start to feel almost as if you're losing your sense of taste. Nothing's exciting you as much anymore, things that used to excite you. You are also starting to feel like there's this overwhelming sense of deep sensitivity with everything is too much. And at the same time, there's a disconnect happening. There's also the feeling that when you may wake up, your sleep patterns could be disrupted. There could be moments of high energy and then suddenly 2 days of you just want to nap and not see anyone. It could be that there are events that you would have normally gone to by people that you actually love and you don't even want to go. I've known people who were having in the spiritual awakening ascension process where a good friend was getting married and they couldn't even get themselves to the wedding. That's a tough one, right? You almost want to feel like you almost feel as if you want to not even be around the people that you were so close to before. At the same time, there's these beautiful moments that you start experiencing and you wonder if it's real. The list goes on. So when you say blocked, sometimes you need a big experience to unblock you. There's different, let's be very practical here. There's different experiences. And if you are a student of energy, the universe is energy, understand that energy will always find a way. Like Jurassic Park, life always finds a way, right? So energy will come out. If you always think that you should you've been working so hard and living life so hard and you need a break, but you won't give yourself a break, and then you get sick because you wouldn't give yourself a break. And so the body is so wise that it manifests in some sort of the flu, or you trip and hurt your ankle and you can't go to work, or something, chronic condition starts to happen because you've been wanting to check out, but really you've just wanted to rest and reset yourself. So that's how energy works. But if you listen to energy and you become more sensitive and you start to see what you really need rather than what you're craving, Be very careful about cravings. The body has cravings. Doesn't necessarily mean that thing is going to be good for it. So sometimes when you crave sugar and salt, your body is actually needing minerals, not really sugar and salt. There's plenty of salt in almost everything you eat, and a lot of sugar too. So there is that jump start that people feel by taking a little extra thing. And I'm not against sugar and salt. I love a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a bag of Doritos all at the same time, man. I love it. But it's not what I eat every day. So you have to give yourself a little bit, you have to pamper yourself right now, baby yourself right now. On the flip side, stop babying yourself. This is all part of spiritual ascension and awakening. So you're in for an amazing ride. Don't stop. Keep tuning into things like this. Keep reading more. You have to be in your body. And when you say you feel disconnected or you feel like your being is blocked, one of the best things you can do is to exhaust yourself physically. Run somewhere in a park or on the beach till you freaking collapse and you're laying there on the ground going, well, guess what's happening? Your nervous system and your breathing system, all of that, your respiratory system is getting activated, and endorphins start to pump through your body, and you start to feel alive again. Much of the thing, do a cleanse, go get a colonic, go get acupuncture, do things. And you want to really have something, find a shaman and do a sacred plant medicine journey. You wanted help. You are here because you want help, unless you're just on the surface and just want to stay blocked. Because some people do, by the way. I've worked with a lot of people over the decades, as you know. And sometimes I come to the conclusion, they don't really want to change. There's a part of them that they have to feel sorry for themselves for a while. I'm not saying it's you, my friend, but we all have to check ourselves in certain moments of our life. Like, are you feeling sorry for yourself? That's only good for a little period of time. Then it becomes indulgent. And you have to shake and wake yourself up. Shake and bake, baby.
Okay, we ready to move on?
I am, yes, thank you.
Don't look at the screen.
Can I tell you who's coming through? Lon Chaney is coming through. You know who Lon Chaney is? This happens. Listen, you guys are like in our house with us right now. This is what happens in our house. That's why we did the podcast and just set cameras and lights up. Because this is actually what we would be doing even if we didn't have a podcast. We've been doing this for a decade and a half together. And the whole reason we had a podcast was because we spent so much time on, TV appearances and big expos and the Circle of Light in public arenas. And we never get a chance to have these kinds of conversations over so many years. So we said, let's just do it. We're not in a studio. We're in the house so that you guys can hang with us. Order a pizza and be with us while we just kind of chill. And this is what we've done. We've lit candles and friends have been hanging out. And we chit chat about spiritual things and teach things and then jump into a reading. And that's what we're doing right now.
Okay, so don't look at the screen
I'm not looking,
yet.
but Lon Chaney is here.
Hi, Lon Chaney.
Look up Lon Chaney. You're on your computers. LONCHANEY.
So I've been trying to say something, so I'm just going to take this opportunity right now. So while you're listening to Riz give these messages, my suggestion to all of you is to see if there's something that resonates for you in any of these messages for other people and pull those in for yourself. So don't think it's just specific for that person, because there's some of you that might have similar situations. That being said, I'm going to try something new right now.
All right.
So we have at least half a dozen people concerned about money and finances and hitting financial walls and don't know how to get to the next level and really tired of this whole financial strain.
Are you going to do a financial spell?
We should just do one big sweep because there's so many questions about that.
Shall we do a financial spell?
You can do a financial spell. You want me to get started and send it off to you?
You don't even have to send it off to me, but if it feels right, I'll jump in. But
I could start it off because the financial conversation is a big one. But you have to understand everything is energy. So we're going to start from there. And you also have to understand your intentionalities, your core beliefs, your emotions, program, your reality. So that being said, if you are dealing with fear and you are in a fear conversation and you are getting it validated by things you see on TV, by people you talk to that have the same conversation, you keep that conversation alive. Long story short, because this can be a 3-hour conversation just on that. The number one way to get through a financial crisis or to break through is you have to, so if you're looking over here to the right and you're looking at fear, you're going to have to start looking, force your neck, turn yourself to the left and start looking in the direction of what makes you happy. It's going to feel extremely unnatural and you're going to feel like you probably shouldn't do this because your ship is sinking and you're trying to get the water out of your ship.
Yeah.
But the key to financial abundance is you have to get out of fear because fear is constricting. And if you have constriction, you're not going to have your hands open for abundance. And this is just facts. So open your hands.
This as opposed to this.
Keep your hands, your body, your mind open for love, relationships, money, abundance, and good health. So you have to remember this, and we're here to remind you, and everyone on the planet should remind their friends and family. For those who are weaker or sad or depressed, the stronger one in the family or friend group should be the one reminding. This is something you pass on to everybody you know. So you always should let people know that when they're in fear is because they're constricting. When you're relaxed, you're open and you're allowing. So to attract financial abundance and to understand where you want to go for financial abundance, you have to look at what makes you happy because that's where your vibration is highest. So when you start thinking of, well, I like to kind of do this. I would rather be working on a farm, or I'd rather be working downtown in a big high rise, or I would like to be wearing 6-inch heels, or I would like to be running a track for a living, or I would like to be working with kids is my truth. So when you start uncovering what your real truth is, you're starting to realize that actually being more of yourself, being really truly who you are is where the highest vibration, the power, the magic, the battery, the source, fuel is. And this is what is going to source you, provide for you, move you through all of your barriers, all of your discontentment, all of your fears, because you are honoring yourself, your true self, your true nature, and giving to yourself what you truly deserve. And even if you don't like the whole job 100%, but you like at least 80% of the job, that's enough. But if you're in a job that you absolutely can't stand and you're talking to people nonstop every day that confirm that this is horrible, and you confirm it with friends and family, and then you go on the news and then there's more confirmation, you just keep putting bricks and bricks on top of yourself, and then you get stifled. And here you're trying to break free, but you can't because you're choking. And the reason you're choking is because you're looking in the wrong direction. This is simply about changing your direction. So no more looking to the right over here because it's not serving you. You're not getting anything out of it, and there's no good results coming from it. So you're going to have to force yourself. Strong willpower is going to come in here. Or you can maybe even tickle yourself, but find a way to move yourself to another direction. Look in the direction of what is fun, what feels good. What am I willing to try? What class am I willing to take? Who am I willing to partner up with? What about that idea you've always wanted to do, that entrepreneurial idea that you wanted to go in business for yourself? Is there anybody who will go in business with you? These small moves are what is going to activate the bigger picture for you to have financial abundance.
When people, I've worked with a lot of people who have so-called regular jobs, and they will be doing something that's spiritual, whether they're reading cards, or they feel they're a medium, or there's some psychic sense going on, or they want to be a shaman, or they want to be an energy worker, or they want to be a Reiki healer. You get the picture. And they go, I wish I could be doing this full time. Well, I understand that. Of course you do. And you go, well, how do I do? I wish I could just, if I could make as much money with my healing work as I could with my regular job, I would be doing my healing work. Yeah, we all have real issues. We have kids, and we have rents and mortgages and all of those things. And you're an entrepreneur. You're not gonna have a 401k, right? So all these real world thoughts come in. There's reality, and then there's the spiritual world. There's reality, and then there's the spiritual world. Have you ever noticed that people say the term "the cold hard reality is this"? Or the cold hard truth is this? You never hear anyone say the soft warm truth is this.
I just want to know why
right?
Why is the conversation prevalent on this earth that spirituality is separate from life? Like I'm living life now.
Well, they also feel that spirituality is separate from money.
And then I'm going to go into spirituality. Yeah, everything is separated into compartments. But isn't this an entire existence of spirituality? Isn't it all spiritual?
You are not a spiritual being having a human experience. You're a spiritual being having a spiritual experience, clearly, because the entire time it's about that. Why even downgrade being a human? I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Guess what? this human experience is where it's at because you are focused here. You're only going to be focused in the dream time for a couple of hours tonight, but the rest of the time, your divine purpose is here. You call it the 3D, you say it's so dense here, but the whole point is how do you get past the so-called perception of it's so dense, death and taxes, and this is how it is, and you got to have a house, and no, you're going to just live on the street. Well, there's some people who do live on the street and do have a sense of joy and peace that people who have plenty of money don't. I've had so many people I've worked with who were very wealthy, even famous, and then weren't that happy, and people who had nothing who were. And the reverse has been true. They had a lot of money and a lot of fame, and they are absolutely happy, and the person who has so-called nothing or none of those things isn't. So it's not that, but we have this deep belief, and I want to address this because one thing that we will always tell you and what we understand as truth is that there's been a movement on the planet amongst people that there's a certain honor in not having money. Like we have this thing about there's a goodness and a nobility in being poor, and then people who have a lot of money, that's kind of suspect. There might be good reason to think that, but that's not always true. I know that for a fact that's not always true. So what part of yourself, what is your belief system? What is the belief system around money that your parents gave to you? And do you really understand that? This has a lot to do with how you see money. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you some stuff to disrupt some belief systems that you have going on here. Because some people think, well, I'll say to people, it's interesting. There's children who are born into money that are also successful. And the person will automatically say, yeah, because their parents handed it to them. They get them to the best schools. They know all the right people, gave them all the right jobs. And that's why. That's not always true. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's that their idea about money isn't about struggle. And I've seen some incredible minds, incredible artistic talent come out of people that, in a sense, had nothing to do with their money. How do I know? Because I grew up poor, so I know. I can tell when it has to do with money, and it doesn't. It's that there was a freedom around money. And you go, damn it, how do I get that freedom if I grew up poor? How do I get to money so then my kids, right? Then it goes on, like, well, so then your kids or whoever follows you, how do you then help influence their belief about money? Because there are some people who have a lot of money and then their belief is still very quite tight about money. So it creates this disruption or this dissonance in their house. We're going deeper here, so you guys got to hear this because money is part of the course of mysticism, believe it or not. Of course it is, because this is part of this reality. You're not here to be spiritual to disconnect yourself from this reality. You're spiritual because you're here to see the magic in all experiences that you are having, guys. You know how many people have been trying to feed you this stuff over the years, that this is your escape, this is just your costume party? No, your life is your costume party, because you're not going to look like this skin color or this face that you have in the next lifetime. You don't come back as the same race. So let go of this identity. Don't hold on to this identity too much. Enjoy whatever race you are. Celebrate that. Don't oppress anybody else. And understand that you will be something else the next lifetime, and you were something else the lifetime before. This has so much to do with generational programming about money. So there are people, you were taught these beliefs, and you guys are asking about money. Even as a psychic, I can see. So when I do a psychic reading about money, let's break this down. When I do a psychic reading about money, what I'm feeling, it's almost like if I'm a master chef and you want to tell me, how's my meal turning out? And I come to the stove and I see, and then I look in the oven, I open the oven door and I see, and then I look and saw what your recipe is. And I go, oh, that's not the right recipe. It looks like you have carrots and peas in a pot. Looks like something's cooking. Yeah, there's a fish in the pot, in the fry pan. Yep, there's a cake in the oven. That looks right. But what's in that cake? Did you let the dough rise or sit? Did you tenderize the meat? Did you season it? Is the meat fresh? What about these carrots and peas? Are they seasoned properly? Is there too much salt? So as a psychic, what I'm doing is I'm tasting it. That's why for some people, when I do a reading, instantly I get, money's coming for you in like 6 months. because that's my ability as a psychic. It's almost like a master chef. I feel like Gordon Ramsay. Like, and I look and I go, no. You need to go reorganize all the ingredients in here because you don't actually know how to cook. You did put it all in the pot, because what's putting it all in the pot? I work really hard, Riz. I'm really honest. I'm really integrous. I've really tried to learn the skill. I just want to make this amount of money. Right. You cut the potatoes, you cut the carrots, you cut the peas, you put the water, you put the olive oil, but it doesn't taste good. It's not a successful dish because you didn't actually master every single process. And if you want a good meal, you have to master every single process along the way. Ask anyone who has succeeded financially, and they will tell you this. There's an art, and it's like an unspoken understanding amongst them. So when I do a psychic reading about finances, I can immediately taste what has gone into this in terms of the ingredients. That's why with some people, when I'll do a reading, I'll go, you might need to go back to the drawing board, or there's a few more steps along the way. And I see more about 2 years, your finances switch, because what I'm seeing is they're asking me, how's the bread baking? And I go, oh, you got about 2 more hours on this. So
Jennifer Whitmore.
Yes.
Said confirmation on my love life partner who's coming in. I have been seeing a Pisces sign for a few months now. I feel a magnetic energy guiding us to connect. Do you know his name or initials? And then I'd like to jump to Miriam's
You went
question.
testing me about the initials. I like that.
Let's get specific.
I don't get. If I get it, I get it. If I don't get it, but that was the mark. Jennifer was the Pisces. Told you what he was. That's your mark. It would be funny if his name is Mark.
Well, let's jump over to Miriam because it's perfect for coming out of our financial download we just gave you guys. So she said, help, I'd like to do something active in nature, something that lights me up and speaks to my soul. She's referring to her career. Can you tap into spirit? And
Yes,
my sun
of
side
course.
is Sag, moon is Leo, north node is Aquarius.
How beautiful. I don't use astrology in my readings. That's Erica's job. By the way, if you'd like an astrology reading, on Instagram, look up Star Path Astrology. If you follow us on Instagram,
Star Path Astrology.
you'll see Erica's astrology.
Put your link in the chat box.
Yes, please.
She's a very good intuitive astrologer.
She does phone readings, Zoom readings.
And chart astrologer, Western astrology, but also she's great with families and children, which is such an unusual and specific skill
I love how, and
to
because
learn about your children.
some of my clients have gone to Erica for readings on their kids, and they have actually told me it has finally answered some questions about how to deal with this kid and to understand where this kid is coming from. And great.
And also, one last thing I'd like to say, she just started giving readings to children, giving readings to the parents about children who can't speak. So if children have autism or cannot speak, it really
Or
helps.
mutism, right?
Right. It helps the parent to understand how to read their child better, to know their sign. So, and that she does on a donation basis. She doesn't.
I want to talk to
charge for
Tony.
that. Tony, when will I get a business
'Cause there was
deal successful?
Oh, you are destined for success in business. There's no doubt about it. You are a salesperson.
We read Miriam's question, but we never answered it.
But I will get to that. But there was just
it was coming in.
The guide said answer his
Hang on,
question.
Miriam. We're getting to you.
So Tony, you want to provide for people. The best thing about you is that, the part of you that, some people go, so this person wants to show off. Yeah, but that's fun because you're going to get to show off some of your money. You're the type of person. Keep in mind, like, you can't wait to surprise people with, hey, by the way, here's a car for you. Oh, by the way, you're worried about your rent? Don't worry about it. I got it for you. Like, you're a giver. And that fun, that personality of you that like shines and wants to show that you're successful is actually going to work for you because it gives you that energy. But this is about commercial success for you. And whether by the way, I don't know, of course, you have your own business, but I have to tell you something. There's something in clothing and design and merch of something for you. I'm curious if you've ever thought about that and to write us back in the comments because I want to know. Question.
Bernadette, we got to you, girl. She's been asking, get to my question. Is my dragon mother and father's soul on earth? What dragon color was I born with? I heard different colors mean different gifts.
Yes, you are right. And I don't exactly use the same terminology as you, but I will say this, okay? The color
Hang on, Miriam, we're getting to you.
The color that immediately comes is this color between fuchsia and violet with gold sparks around it. That's what I look at, like gold. Is the word flecks of gold? Yeah, flecks of gold around fuchsia violet color. The other question was, that
Miriam?
was the question you were born with. I heard different colors mean different gifts. The different colors, the colors that I see that this has to do with is about working with healing energy, but specifically, I would say with you, it's almost like I almost feel like you should have been born a twin, or that there's this twin on the other side with you that's working with you. And it's kind of like that Gemini energy. I'm not saying you're a Gemini. I'm just saying, just to give you a visual in your mind. What was the first question? Is my dragon mother and father's soul on Earth? No, is what I get immediately. No. By the way, I have to say to you that your first actual connection with them was this kind of connection was right around 6 or 7 years old. You've been carrying this feeling a long time. On Earth, you mean in the physical flesh? No. What I'm getting is, because we're on Earth, right? We're in the 3D body. What you're tuning into is the spiritual, non-physical energy.
Okay. So Miriam would like to get into nature and have a career in nature, something that lights her up and speaks to her soul.
Okay,
Can you
got you.
tap into her
Sure.
spirit?
What's the name? Mariam.
Miriam.
Yes. Thank you. I've heard this name before. I think that
Yeah, she's been here
You're a
from the
regular.
beginning,
Thanks for
yeah.
coming back. Okay. When you say you want a career in nature, the average person will be like, okay, just go work for the parks department. You are talking about experiencing nature, not just you want to be in nature, because, people who pick up garbage on the beach are working in nature. I don't think that's what you want to do. I keep it real with you. Let's be true. You want magic and nature, but you also don't want to hassle. You see, that's the thing. You don't want to hassle. Nature, for you, it's about the experience of being in, like walking through Joshua Tree and seeing the cacti and feeling the energy of the red rocks. This is time for you to now actually go and learn about this, because what I feel, it's almost as if, now this depends. How big do you want to manifest, Mariam? Because you could actually create, if you wanted to and really directed, to create even a sort of center or oasis or a place that people could go to in a spot in nature that really is magnificent and powerful for you. And you say, I want to get a place where people can come to and be in that nature, because it's not just about you, it's about sharing that as well, which is also, of course, income and spreading it. That's where I see it could be. But I don't, being very specific, I don't see it just about you moving around to just nature anywhere. It's about having a brick and mortar kind of a physical place in it, that from there you can, and it's not easy, by the way, because anytime you get into spiritual healing work, there's so much work. It's so much about, you have to really live it, be it, and share it with people and start to know what is it about your type of energy that they like, and then to feed that and to cater to it, and so that people will be drawn to you. So there's a big surrender that happens with these visions. You're obviously having a dream and a vision, but then there is how much you have to bring a lot of life force into this, Mariam. I don't know if do you have the energy for this at this moment? I don't see it, but I do see this is more in the future than right now.
So Sherry Sarner got back to us. Her dad's name is Arthur, and he's the one that recently passed.
Thank you. Many blessings, Sherry, on Arthur. You know what's interesting? I've been talking about King Arthur. If you scroll back or scrub back on this video, you will see me talking about King Arthur, Merlin, and Guinevere. So I've actually said the name Arthur today. And certainly he is in the kingdom of light and beautiful love and compassion and truth, of course, if he's on the other side. Yes, let me tune in. You know, what's interesting is a very strong heartbeat. And you go, well, he's not in a physical body. Yes, you do create another body when you're on the other side. And he's saying, I have a very strong heartbeat. I'm curious, Sherry, do you have any children? I'm curious about that because I want to go there if you do. Because your dad is surrounded by children on the other side. It's almost like he's in a kindergarten class. When I see that, it's almost like he is spending time with those children who passed away when they were very young. And your dad finds so much joy in that. He's saying grace. Now, I don't know, maybe grace is the name of a person, but I think he's saying, I have found grace in this. Also, did a clock stop recently around you? Like stopped working? Or was this a joke between you? He's saying something about the clocks not working. Or you're not resetting the clocks, or the clock keeps flashing the same number. Let me know about that.
So Tony responded. He said, I'm currently in the commodity space and no breakthroughs for years. But with regards to fashion, I want to do retail. Thank you so much for the response.
Hey, Tony, you got it, man. Do stuff that's fun. Well, listen, there's a lot of money in the other stuff too, but there's a lot of money in fashion also if you do it right. Play it right. You don't need to, I'll put it this way. You don't need to do a whole fashion line if that's what it is. You can do certain pieces, start smaller and make it awesome and interesting. And you have the smarts to make things like that go viral. Back to Arthur, I wanted to say this because his energy is still with me. Was it Sherry who said it?
Yes.
Sherry, have you changed your diet, or are you thinking about like going vegan or whatever? I'm not saying it's necessarily vegan, but is it like a change? Like, oh, now I'm going to go keto or whatever it is, because he's saying to me that you're going to really zone in or hone in or dial. That's the word, dial in on what you're putting into your body. And he is your dad is like in this brand new physical body. It's very light and very, and I mean physically light. I don't mean like light, like energy light. Like it's literally, I can see the body. He's very tall on this other side. He's like, I don't have to stand on my, I don't know. I'm going to tell you how he says it. Was he short, or are you short? Because he's saying that you don't have to, I'm so tall, I don't have to stand on my tiptoes. And he's like, I'm seeing the future for you ahead. So like, imagine if you're going on your tiptoes to look ahead and who's at the front of the line. Also, does his name Darren or Darlene mean anything to you? Curious, Sherry. Okay.
Jennifer, here's the name Mark everywhere. Just like you said, Mark. She says, wowzers. Welcome to the psychic Midnight Madness. Okay.
Yeah, it's Midnight. It's not Midnight Madness.
I know, but I just like saying it.
Do you guys know what Midnight Madness is?
Can I say it?
You try it. Do it.
It's Midnight Madness.
Now do it again.
It's Midnight Madness. It's actually our other show we do midweek, where Riz Trance Channels, and we don't take questions, but I just like saying that name. Okay, so Rain Monet, do I have a message from my guides also? I've heard a voice twice whisper my name in my ear the last week and a half as I'm sleeping. It was gentle and not frightening at all.
So Rain, do you know that you have mermaid guides? Mermaid guides. Yes, of course, mermaids exist, but they are dimensional. They are not in this physical ocean. They can be, but that's not where they originate. They are dimensional. What does dimensional mean? How do I break down dimensional? Well, when you go to sleep tonight and you dream, notice that you haven't really left your bed, but in a way you have left your bed, because when you wake up from a dream, haven't you felt yourself kind of like jerk back and fallen back into your body? You don't come in from the side. You don't come up from behind yourself. You fall back into your body. That's the sort of an astral travel. But the dimension is right here. So the mermaids and these so-called mythical creatures like dragons or leprechauns, they come in and out of this. They blip in and out of this physical reality that you can see with your eyes. So people who have had transcendental experiences, or people who have had psychedelic experiences with a shaman in the right conditions and understand it, they begin to see through this veil. And we are in October where the veil is thinnest. So you will experience that with the mermaids. But what was the question?
Do I have a message from my spirit guides?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I can give you a message from them. Anyway, they're the ones introducing this. What they are saying, think of Ariel in The Little Mermaid. What they are saying is you can actually, in the middle of the night, sit up and start writing. I'm saying this to you literally. That when you start to feel that, or you can take your phone, press record on the voice memo, and just start to say your thoughts, or start to say what you're feeling, and start to say the things that you're picturing in your mind. Now, some people say, well, am I going to listen to that thing later and get a lot of messages out of it? Not necessarily, because your guides are just wanting you to get to loosening your lips and your mouth. Your guides are trying to get you to just loosen up. Sometimes with automatic writing, you guys wouldn't know what that is. It's like stream of consciousness or stream of higher consciousness writing, where you are just letting your hand go on the book, on the page. I filled 3 books with nothing but scribble before even one word came out. So imagine you fill an entire book, every page backwards and forwards, front and back. And at the end, you're like, wow, I just ruined a good book. I just scribbled every single page. No, you didn't. You're stretching. You're getting warmed up. When you want to increase your psychic capacity, look, I come from the school of don't mess around here. This is a serious, natural born, innate capability to be developed. And take it with a great sacred, I'm about to say a grain of salt, pink Himalayan salt. Make it sacred. This isn't a joke. It isn't here to entertain you. It isn't part of that. It's about developing this very sacred reality called the psychic reality. So yes, that's what they are there for. This is about some emotional healing for you, Rain, about you feeling good in your body again, about you feeling proud to be in your body. Your body is needing love, and the mermaid energy is there to bring this to you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just jumping in the crowd. Please. And I'm just going to pick someone. So I picked Amy Yarbrough. Yarbrough. I have been wanting to move out of Ohio since I was 18. I'm 44. Is a move ever going to happen?
Wow. Amy, what's keeping you there? You probably have a list. How long is this list going to be valid for you? How long is this list going to be valid for you? Big changes require big changes. There's an old saying called nothing changes if nothing changes. Mm-hmm. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You
wrote a wonderful song.
I did write a song called Nothing Changes If Nothing Changes.
And it's one of my favorite songs.
It was a show. It was for a children's show that I had developed, and Erica was part of it as well. And you were part of it. We all were part of it. And you can look up that video.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Look it up. Type in Riz the Wiz, Nothing Changes If Nothing Changes into YouTube. It'll pop up. But it's true. And what I feel here for you is you say, I've been wanting to move out, but Amy, you want a little tough love? I mean, I'm sure that you've had plenty of it in your life. Why not have it here on the Halloween special? It is true. Come on. What part of you you had things to take care of course, but after a while, the reasons they're so redundant. I do want to say this to you. She said she's 44. And you didn't have to say how old you were, but I think you were guided to tell me that. Here's why. As a shaman, we believe in the power of numbers. So do mathematicians and civil engineers. But I'm a different kind of engineer. I'm a reality psychic engineer. I'm a locksmith and an interior designer. So 44, very powerful double fours, equals a number 8. See this? Everyone see the number 8 in your mind? Okay. It is like the DNA strand. So you're rewriting codes, opportunity anytime the number 8 shows up. It also represents abundance, power, and manifestation. Why? Because as you come up here in this part of the 8, This represents heaven and the spiritual world, the top part, and this represents earth and the material world. This endless loop of infinity, remember the number 8 is also the sign of the symbol for infinity. So the ever-flowing eternal movement of energy, which is all of reality. And so the number 8 flowing like this represents for you where now finally the spiritual and the material meet, heaven and earth meet, and you are at a very important time where you can do this. And as you're going into number 9, 45 coming up, right? That equals the number 9, 4 plus 5. What does that mean? The baby coming out of the womb, fully born, 9 months in the womb, from conception, gestation to birth. So take advantage of this. Do not let this season pass you by. You will decide where you want to go. You have too many other things that you're making more of a reality than your actual inclination to be somewhere else. I have to do this. I have to do this. What if I do this? Well, who's going to be there for me? How am I going to make it over there? What is this feeling that you have of that the universe isn't going to support you? Look into that. When the universe has actually supported you in all the choices that you have made. You made a choice to stay in Ohio, and you can make a choice to leave. First of all, thank Ohio for nursing you through all of these changes and all of your ups and downs. And say thank you. And then you can bless it and then you can leave. You don't say screw Ohio and then leave. That's not a good way to segue from one chapter into another. You thank the people, the things, even the things that hurt you for bringing you to this place. That's how you work with energy. That's how you're a mystic, because a true mystic understands that they are working with energy at all times. They are working with magic at all times. Even when you're sitting at the DMV. You have a bunch of parking tickets or something you need to take care of, Amy? Because I don't know why I'm saying that.
Okay, so Inner Light in Me asked if she was invisible because apparently we took too long to get to her question, but we have to go through every single one of the chats.
Did she really say, am I invisible?
Yes, because Inner Light in Me feels herself pretty strong, and that's good. But there's a lot of people here, so we're trying our best to get to everyone. But here's the question. Will I obtain my goal of owning my own space and being successful in my healing journey, enabling me to work from home and travel, clearing ley lines?
Well, let's talk first about clearing ley lines, my dear. You have people go, I was putting the crystals to activate the river. No, you don't. And no, you don't clear ley lines. There's nothing blocking a ley line. There's nothing that you can do to activate a river by putting a crystal in it. What are you doing? You are activating yourself. When you're clearing a ley line, as you think you are clearing yourself. The ley line was there before you ever came to this dimension and will be here after you leave this dimension.
The whole purpose of ley lines,
the ley lines
are clear energy.
That's right. The ley lines themselves are the clearer.
Exist.
So you going there to clear them, quote unquote, is to clear yourself. You will feel better after you do a ritual there. The ley line is going to be there even when the planet destructs in 1 billion years or 200 million years or whenever it does. So that being said, and I highly encourage you to get past these mythologies that you are doing something to clear the planet's energy. The planet's energy is doing exactly as it should do and will always do until it no longer decides to be here, whether it's through the destruction it gives into the human beings on it or the alien races or some sort of self-implosion done for reasons we never are going to know. You don't clear a mountain. You don't activate a river. It's there to teach you something. Your pets, you're not taking care of pets. They're taking care of you. The illusion is that you're taking care of them. Animals are very, on the soul level, they understand that they are going to physically leave this body. Animals don't have accidents. Their higher self puts them into an accident or an illness, or they run away, because it is all about getting you somewhere. They are fragment souls, meaning they're not here to be human souls. They are of a higher consciousness. They are of a teaching and guiding consciousness to drop you off when it is time for them to drop you off, which means that when they do pass away, and you're speaking to great animal lovers here who have loved our animals dearly, we understand as shamans and as mystics that we bow our head in humility for the gratitude that that animal spent with us to awaken us to the next level of our understanding. The natural world is not here to be activated by you. In fact, the natural world here is to activate you on all levels.
So more specifically,
now,
to
will
the
you
question,
obtain your goal of owning your own space and being successful in your healing journey? Number one, your goal is already there as you are in the, your healing journey has saved your life. Your healing, the energy of healing and what we're talking about has already saved your own life. As you tap into that love, it's almost like the way that you will have that is do not stand in the way, and I'll break this down for you, of the energy of something. For example, a great singer surrenders to the authentic voice of who they are inside. If the singer is trying to sing like somebody else, it's going to come out with a sort of, it'll be a bit muted. It will sound a bit controlled, too much. The truth doesn't come. And so what you're doing is you're coming in with a lot of energy. I can feel it. And you want to set it up. But once you set it up, then what's going to happen is it's going to be replaced, especially being a professional healer. Sometimes I really want to say this to some people. I say, don't do it. You want to be a paramedic? You want to be picking up eyeballs off of the ground and organs and things that paramedics go through 12 hours, 15 hours a day. And then especially if you're a sensitive, intuitive, or a psychic or a channel, then feel all of those clients' energies the rest of the time. And the rest of the time you're working on trying to regain your energy and then have a normal life. Sometimes I tell people, don't be a healer. Just, do something more fun. Some people aren't cut out to do it. Even rock stars say the best part about being a rock star is the hour and a half that they're on stage. The rest of the time is torture. So I say that because I always like to make things a little bit more savory than just sweet. I break it down for people. Even when I teach people about shamanic medicine journeys, I'll say, hey, listen, it's not all rainbows and leprechauns. You may go through hell during this, but you have to. And that still is going to be a good experience because you cleared energy. What I feel is your healing journey is about your journey into owning your own space and having that and claiming that for yourself. And that's beautiful. That's divine. Knowing that itself is your journey, not separate from it. Like, I'm going to set up my business and then I'm going to give the healing to them. No, it is the entire experience, even for yourself. And so you are in this beautiful, powerful place. It's going to make you cry. It's going to trigger you. It's going to make you humble. It's going to make you confident. It's going to do all of those things for you. So don't stop. Keep surrendering. Keep learning. There's more going on. Also, the energy around you is you have this beautiful silverback gorilla that's with you. That's your spirit animal. You have a silverback gorilla.
Oh, I was looking at them today.
Oh, were you?
They're so powerful.
So this is for you, light within. Number one is the silverback gorilla is extremely gentle, very mothering and caring and nurturing. And their power is restrained most of the time. They don't even show their strength because their strength is there's so much love in them and so much caring and connection that their strength is there to protect and not to intimidate.
Well, we're going to jump over to Captain Baron von Crunch, the captain. His name, he said, is Bob. However, we agreed while you were talking. Hey, Bob,
actually, I think that Lon is for you. Chaney's for you.
While you were talking, we agreed that we can call him Captain Baron von Crunch because we like his nickname.
Captain Von Crunch.
I feel there should be a cartoon logo of that Baron von Crunch. You should have an AI designer for you.
He says he's good making up silly names, so you should make up some silly names for us. Bob, I put you to the task.
Our nicknames are Riz the Wiz, Lady O.
I am officially Lady O. And you're officially Riz the Wiz.
My stepkids call me Mama Riz.
But I'm very curious what Bob will come up with. So his question is right here. Here's Bob's question. My maternal grandfather, Frank, passed when I was 9. It was a very traumatic experience, and I miss him ever so much. God. Could you relay a message from him?
Frank?
Yes, Frank is his name.
Yeah, give me a moment. Why don't you talk while I kind of just drop in? Because sometimes they're not just right there. I have to kind of feel,
Right. So I'd like to say hello to some of the people just dropping in. So Jenny Diaz, I acknowledge that she is in the house. Jenny and us go way back 10 years or more. She's been to a lot of our circles and everything, and we love Jenny. Buckshot's here, Mystical Matter. Stephanie Clark, Bernadette, Kayla Jones. We see all of you guys, and we're trying to get to everybody. Pamela, Naduka, and yeah. So
give me a moment.
Shelly.
Frank is building houses on the other side, Bob. Yes, there's a physical reality on the other side. Watch What Dreams May Come. That's the only movie that I can recall that shows a lot of the truths that I've discovered as a medium. He's building houses. He's like showing me I'm chopping wood and I'm putting these things together, and he's working with other people. And it's like he's building houses for the people that are crossing over to the other side now. And he's been doing it for a long time. He's also bringing up either checkers or chess or something. Do you play? And cards, like all these little like games. He's like, and then on my off time, I do this. And then on his off time from building those houses, he checks in on you. I was curious, how is your eyesight doing? Like when you're driving, Bob? He's talking about, I'm going to keep the roads clear for him. Could you tell me what he means by that? He's like, I'm going to keep the roads clear for him. Do you live where there's snowstorms or something? Or do you have some eyesight issue when you're driving? Because that's the statement he's making to me right now. Also, July is a month he's putting a big heart around. So that commemorates something. I'd love to know what that is, Bob. But that's his message to you.
Okay, so...
Oh, this is really funny. He's like, get some new belts. What does that mean? Belts for your car or belts for your jeans? Do you not like buy enough stuff for yourself? Trying to change some things out, Bob.
So Laura Dominguez says, can you talk to unborn children? I'm going to be a grandmother. What a great question.
Sometimes I do. And I think I just saw Baroness's Wise Lon Chaney.
Yes. He said he's nearsighted, no glasses.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Lon Chaney's with you because I believe that he played the Phantom of the Opera. Was he the Man of 1,000 Faces? I think he was. He's with you not because you need to put on Halloween makeup or something. Actually, maybe it is about finally dressing up for Halloween, Bob. But yeah, it's to reinforce the message that you are free to, like the way you make up nicknames for people. It's about how you play with identity. And he was a man of 1,000 faces. So he likes that about you. Sometimes your guides are with you just because they just totally like you and they just want to hang around your energy. Nothing wrong with that.
I think this is a very interesting question from Laura.
Yes, please.
Can you talk to unborn children? I'm going to be a grandmother.
It has happened. Can I tell you?
Yes.
I did it. The first time that happened to me, there was a reading I was doing years ago. And I heard the kid banging on a drum. And since it's years later, that kid is a drummer. That kid started playing drums at 7 or 8 years old. And I heard the drums while that baby was in there.
Before you continue, I just want to say we're at 9:00 and LA time, Pacific Standard Time. And I just want to check in if we should stop the super chats now and just kind of pick through.
I will just say one thing, Gabriella. I'm getting stay now and reassess in 6 months. Gabriella, I read your message.
Please, I need guidance, stay or move out.
Okay.
But
go on to the
just
next
for
one.
other people to hear.
Reassess in 6 months.
Okay, do you want me to stop the super chats now and then just pick through?
One more super chat and then I'm going to go to the rest.
Okay. Okay, we understand inner light.
Yeah,
Thank you for clarifying. Okay, so
Let's go to the next one. There. Let's see being drawn here. You said you want to go to super chats, right?
we actually, there's one more super chat we haven't done here. This one. Yeah, this one, and there's one more.
Read it for me.
So Carla Fuster.
Yeah.
Hello, I want to start a car rental business. Will it be successful? Can I have any advice? Thank you very much.
Yes. You know, when I tune into business, It doesn't matter what the idea is. I do not give my opinion about anything. Riz the person often has a different opinion about things than Riz the psychic. Do you know what I mean? When I'm giving a message, you could say I want to open up a lettuce farm in the middle of downtown LA. It has nothing to do with the idea. It's only about what I see going on with that energy. So I see two other people that you would need to make this happen. I see the third person as having a equal amount of money being invested into this. I also see that this is something that has to do. You will have to have your own app for this to be more successful. I think you're actually tuning into this for yourself already. I just want to confirm this for you. It's a matter of location. I feel like it's not where you live. It could be nearer to where you live, like the next town over, but you'd have to be willing to do a little bit of, I don't know if it's relocating permanently, but like being somewhere where you're not necessarily used to all the time. I see it as a medium success, quite honestly. I don't see it as a blockbuster success, but I see it as enough to satisfy a part of you that it didn't fail. And it's better than that. It's medium is what I get. That's the flavor and the fire energy that I get from it. I always tell you like I see it. For it to be bigger, it has to be different. It's not just... It's associated with something else. You will have to collaborate with something, some bigger entity is what I'm getting. Okay.
Okay, so Tiffany Sanchez has been patiently waiting since the very beginning. Her question is, current career, will I excel or need to move on? This is the last
Well, excel means like, are you going to get some sort of promotion or upgrade in this? What I'm getting is that you're used to doing things in a particular methodology that has worked for others, and it's like almost like you've tried to fit in and do it right. That's the number one thing that I get. I'm looking at timing for moving on. You eventually will have to move on and do your own thing. But I gotta say, I do see a change of like totally doing something different. Tiffany, you have to believe that that doing something that actually excites you and that you would have fun doing. That you would have fun doing is where your success lies. It is not about, it has to be even a business that's so serious it could be fun. I'm just going to give you a crazy example, and I'm not saying...
asked, will I move up?
Yeah, you can move up, but I'm not sure that you're going... I did see the promotion, that's why I said the upgrade, but I think that you would only be temporarily satisfied. I don't think that you're supposed to, ultimately, you're going to be happy with a boss who has the power to move you up. Some people are fine with that. Most of the world is fine with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I only go by what I feel for the individual energy. And what I feel is that ultimately you would need to be either with one other person who are the bosses, or you yourself are. Actually, no, it is two others. It's another person that you would be the boss with, founding your own firm. All right, let's go. Other ones.
I'm stuck to my mic. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, so do you want to just casually pick one before? I mean, what do you want to do? It's 9 o'clock?
Yes.
I'm
going to casually pick one.
Okay, so just casually pick one. Miriam, we will announce when the next Circle of Light is in LA really soon. And if you guys want to sign up for our newsletter, go to our website, rizmirza.com, RIZMIRZA.com. Sign up for our newsletter. There's updates about every week, and we tell you all the latest updates, what's going on, what events we're doing, that you can see us in person.
Shout out said, now I'm remembering how much I liked Pegasus as a kid, because I was telling a gentleman named Shout Out that was who his gatekeeper was. Oh, let's see.
And if anybody want to drop us a line when we're not on our live, you can go to info@rizmirza.com. If you have a question, we can help you with resources, send you links, shoot you in the right direction. If you want to learn more.
Right now, we'll see where the guides are taking me.
And all those coming in at the very tail end here as we're about to close, welcome. And you should just rewind and start over at the beginning, because this was a fun October live chat.
Okay. I'm going back a little bit right now. I'm going back a little bit more. Oops, what happened? Did I do the wrong thing?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I go here?
Let me see.
Go ahead. Oh, okay, thank you. You go like this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys never told me what your favorite Halloween costumes were. Don't get out of the Halloween spirit just because we're doing readings.
Who was the one that said that they were wrapped in tinfoil when they were a child? Erica, did you read that?
No. Was it that one?
Was it, it wasn't Bob, was it? It was either Bob or somebody said, and they were a kid. They were a baked potato.
That is so awesome.
That's so cute.
I wish you guys could upload a photo.
Please.
And for the Disney question, my grandmother's name was Ellen Miller, and she was one of the first female artists to paint on the cells in color for Walt Disney. And I saw those cells when I was a little kid.
Bob was the baked potato.
Bob was the baked potato.
Of course.
Jennifer, thank you for the love. That's really sweet of you.
I was the baked potato.
Okay, I'm just going to now just swing it, and I'm just going to pick one, okay? Ready?
Ready? Here we go.
It just came to Ada Lee. My light language is activating. Why? What starseed am I from? Let me tune into that. What starseed? But I can answer the first question, why light language activates. Light language, guys, for those of you who don't know, some people in the old days used to call that speaking in tongues. Okay, so it's a language you don't recognize. Sometimes for people it sounds like gibberish because you don't recognize it as a language. So light language, which is a much better, I think, much more appropriate term than speaking in tongues, has to do with how you are. Since everything is frequency, you are just letting your tongue and your mouth really relax and get out the energy. Just like sometimes people twitch when they get a message, or they twitch when they're sleeping because the body has a natural reaction to kind of snap a blanket out, get the dust off, or just make your let the energy flow through you better. So light language is a transmission of frequency from your spirit guides. Now, these spirit guides may be in the form of interdimensional beings. Some people call them extraterrestrial, but they could be interdimensional. They could be your actual spirit guides that we talk about commonly here. They could be from even just the vibration that is coming through. I've seen people actually do it. I was I held a day retreat, and a person was putting their feet in the water, and after our meditation, and they started going into light language. And so that light language is like you're becoming the vessel through which energy flows. And you might say, well, what is the purpose? The purpose always is an upgrade for you, a healing for you. Now, as time goes on, in the beginning, you might even be exhausted from it. But as time goes on, you start to get used to it. And then eventually, sometimes that light language starts to morphing into the language that you speak. So, so I'm getting, you say, what part of the galaxy am I from the light language? It's Palladian, number 1. You guessed it. There it is for you. You know it. Beautiful.
Well, you guys, we are going to call it a night. There's some of you dropping off on the East Coast.
You're falling
going to
asleep.
And hope you go into blissful nighttime healing. And thank you for those of you who are coming in from South Africa and faraway places. We're here in Los Angeles, California.
Yes.
And we're so glad to see you. Next week, we are going to be back on Sunday night?
Yes, we will actually be back.
Amazing.
We might start a little bit later.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll let you guys know if Sunday night is on, because
Okay.
we're leading a spiritual retreat up in, well, not this weekend. No, this weekend we're on.
Yeah.
We're on this weekend. We're going to do this again Sunday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
And the following
And then
weekend
we'll
after
update them.
that, we'll let you know, because we're going to be leading a retreat in Mount Shasta.
Yeah, we're doing a spirit activation retreat in Mount Shasta, tapping into Atlantean,
Good night,
Lemurian,
mystical matter.
extraterrestrial energies. By the way, Erica, we have space for
Bernadette,
Mount
we did
Shasta
answer your
next.
question.
We have
Go back and rewind.
yes.
We answered it.
Mount Shasta retreat does have space.
In the summer, yes.
Yes, and Sedona. So Sedona and Shasta has space. The magical, sacred, mystic Egypt retreat, where I channel the Egyptian gods and deities down in the beautiful areas of Cairo, Luxor, and Aswan in Egypt. We're going there in February. We do have a couple of spots left. Sedona Activation Shaman Retreat has space. These are all retreats where you spend time with us
after Mount
in person,
Shasta-
and I channel and I do shamanic rituals, and we just reset.
And after Mount Shasta, we're going directly to Salem, Massachusetts, where we are putting on a one-of-a-kind, amazing
Paranormal Psychic Retreat, and that's sold out though,
yeah,
guys.
and
But
that's
next
the
year
only
is
date
open.
for that. Yeah, next year is open for that. It's going to be a really busy year. It has been a very busy
Come
year.
join us at any one of these fun trips. No, doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can still come on the retreats. You don't have to be living in California, and we get to spend time together and do this in person.
Okay, Bernadette, ask us again the second super chat question next week. Hang on to that question, drop it in, and we will answer
And
you
we'll go to it right at the top. Okay.
right away.
All right.
All right, guys.
Sleep well.
Love you all.
Dream
Good night.
well.
Happy October.
Happy October.